Cyberome is a UTM. We've been in the market for 3.5, 4 years in Australia. Before that, it's about 8 years around the world. And in that time, Cyberome is a child of the Elite Core company. They've also got a few other businesses that they run around ISP billing. Where have Cyberome come? Where are they going? We've moved from the bottom of the visionary quadrant right up to the edge, and we're just a matter of time before we start shipping enough units before we move into the leaders quadrant, hopefully. So what is the Cyberome product about? And I'll ask a question on this at the end, and if you can tell me the answer, I'll give you a prize. The Cyberome product is about identity. Now, it's not just about identity in your web filtering module and so you can know who the user is. It's about identity in the whole product. So it's about which gateway does the user go out based on their username, which security policy they get based on the username. And of course, we tie into Active Directory, LDAP, Open Directory, and those sort of Radius, that sort of thing. So the Cyberome is all about identity. It's an identity-based firewall, or UTM, sorry. And we call this technology the Layer 8, the user layer. Bit of a pseudo layer, but Layer 8 makes it clear to explain that we can control things at the MAC address level, the IP level, the transport level, session level, and then at the user level up the top, and obviously the Layer 7 application level. So all these modules here all tie around identity. So we can create IPS policies with identity, web filtering policies, that sort of thing. So single sign-on. It can be by a web interface, so captive portal. It can be a trade client that can be set to auto start. And we can also just create permanent users against an IP address. We can also do Citrix and terminal services. So that question of per user information on a terminal server, you've got one IP address. How do you differentiate between each user? We can do that. And we've also got NTLM coming soon, which is Astaro's sort of key authentication feature. They don't have the others. We'll have that soon as well. We can actually apply schedules too. So we can say you're allowed to go to Facebook during lunchtime, but not the rest of the time. We can say that during business hours your bandwidth is throttled, but after 5, go ahead and download that torrent if that's part of the policy. So what do you get when you buy the Cyberome? You pretty much get you get a nice blue box, but you can use most of the features within the device. The only features you can't use are the subscriptions, without buying the subscriptions, obviously. So once you buy the subscriptions, you get access to the antivirus database, the anti-spam real-time engine. You get the web and application filtering database and the intrusion prevention database. So the whole product can still be used. You can still create whitelist and blacklist if you like without having the subscriptions, but the subscriptions make a whole lot easier. Sorry. But here you can see at a glance the web categories that people have been browsing. So IT, shopping, there's porn, and there's others. So we're a bit worried about that report there. Let's go in and have a look a bit further. I'll just go to the reports. Let's look at the web usage report. So in the web usage report, we're going to see the top users, the top categories. There's a user surfing pattern, which is really cool. You give each category a certain ranking, so productive, unproductive, working, non-working, and then we actually create a graph of the percentage of traffic that is being productive or non-productive.
Okay, so what I want you to guys think of SafeSync is online storage. I don't want you to think of it as a backup. Okay, and the reason for that is that you would have heard stories in the past where, like, for example, Amazon had a backup online storage where they told everybody, hey, let's back up your data up there and not worry about it. So what people did was grab their data and uploaded it and never kept a copy locally. Okay, but for Trend Micro, what I'm trying to say is don't worry about Trend Micro. Trend Micro's got 2 backup servers in the US and Germany. All right, so if we do go down, you've got 2 copies of it coming back. All right, so further to that, let's just consider SafeSync as an easy way and securely to manage, share, and access your company digital files. There's 2 versions out there right now. SafeSync for consumer, and the other one is SafeSync for business. And the differences is that in the SafeSync for business, you get a team folder component, which allows you to share your data across with your colleagues. So from our SafeSync, you can access your data from any device. So if you've got an iPhone, if you've got an Android device, if you've got an iPad or a Galaxy Tab, or even a web browser, you've got the ability to share and have your data anywhere and any place. Why? Because of the synchronization that occurs continuously. Okay. When I take photos from my camera, I can actually automatically send them up to SafeSync, and SafeSync will replicate it. And then when I go to my laptop and open up the actual web console, or even the actual application that I can use as a virtual drive, it's already there. Some of the features of the product. Online data storage and synchronization, backs up your copy of the file. Access it anywhere, file sharing, multiple user accounts. And this is the beauty of the team folder. I'm the administrator. I create several accounts for my company. So for example, Trend Micro, I'm holding the account for all the IT guys in my team. So I've got my field services, I've got my technical account managers, and I've got my pre-sales guys. So what I do is I create different types of folders under the team folder, and I give them specific permissions for each of those folders. So my field services guys can't see anything from the SE team, and vice versa, unless I provide that type of permission for them to access those folders. Get happy. I've created a Word document, and what I've done is now I've uploaded it up in the cloud. So when we talk about SafeSync for Business, you get two folders. One is called My Files, and My Files is my personal storage where I can put up anything, but everybody else cannot see it. Number two, our team folder is where you start creating the folders and start providing permissions on who can access it. So if you're sharing a Word document with another colleague of yours, you can upload it and he'll be able to log in, grab it, and view it. Okay? So I've made a file, I saved it, I transferred it across to SafeSync, and then whether I'm on my laptop, desktop, iPhone, Android phone, or even my iPad, any device that we can support over here, it'll be ready available because of the continuous synchronization that we've got. All right. This is how the team folder works. I've decided to use this slide that one of the guys in the US used. It's the Beatles, of course. Let's say Paul's decided to create some lyrics. Okay, well, he's getting married, so he's not going to be doing much of that. But let's say he transfers it up into SafeSync into the team folder, but he's allowed John, George, and Ringo to actually have access to it. So what will happen is they'll get a copy of it. The interesting part, as I stressed out, we look after our data centers. So these are owned by Trend Micro. They're looked after 24/7, and only Trend Micro employees will go out and fix the problem. No third party. At the same time, we're using it as what the banks are using to do AES 256-bit encryption between the client and server. And of course, we're running our AV in the back end. So if you try to load a file up that might be a malware-like, unfortunately, and I stress this out, we'll know about it for now, but it will be removed. There's no notifications coming to you yet, but in the next release, which is SafeSync 5, you'll have a notification sent to the administrator outlining them. Yep. That little green tick tells you that it's shared and it's in the cloud. Yep. Correct. No. So if I go back into it, everything should be up to date now. Let's try it again. There it is. So go again. So remember, you're actually caching it. You're not actually storing it. So what you have to do is just common sense again, copy it onto your hard drive to keep it. So if you're going to do modifications on a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet or even a project that you're doing, and you double click on the actual file that's in your virtual drive, it's only caching it into the Windows, I think it's the actual temp file. So the SafeSync, I'll just show it from this end and then I'll jump into the actual console quickly for you. As you can see here, I've got anything that you see here is all about my personal space. Okay, so whoever's in my team folder, they don't get to access that personal space. Now, if I go into a browser, once again, if I've got a file that I've got stored on the hard drive, I have to copy it into the local directory, which is what we saw here. Okay, back into the T drive, right in here, and no one else gets to see it. So if I copied this file now into the team folder, BTP Online, they'll have a copy of that file and they'll be able to access it. Okay, so going back into the browser is exactly what we're seeing here. So once again, my files are here. Now if I want to share it with someone in here, like let's say Malcolm, all I need to do is grab the file and then get linked to this file. And then here are my options. I can either copy the link and open up Outlook and say, hey Malcolm, here's the link for it. Please click on the link and it will take you there. And Malcolm will receive the email, double click on it, and all he will see is that file that I've actually allowed him to see. At the same time, I'd like to stress out also is you can also put a password, an expiry date on it as well. So you don't have to keep it permanently there. You can say, I'm going to keep it here for the next 2 weeks. After that, you won't have access to it.